This is
Brighton's Finest.
bringing the artists closer to you.
Juice.
Obviously, we're talking about the new album, Hearts That Strain, which is coming out on the 1st of September. So I've managed to hear a bit of it on a sneak preview copy, thanks to your label. It's your fourth album, which is quite incredible, really, considering you're only 22, is it?
23 now.
You're 23 now.
Yeah.
And this album was made in Nashville, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Can you tell me about how it was decided to do this album over there?
I'd already met the producer. I'd known him for a couple of years, and I felt like after the last one, I just really wanted to get out there and make a new record. So, I just jumped over there. I thought I'd go try it out, see what happens. I liked what I heard, and so I wrote some songs and continued with the process, and then had an album ready 5 months later.
Now, obviously, Nashville's known as being a hotbed of musicians and just incredible talent over there, and I understand that you played with a few of the old guys from that area. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I played with a couple of the Memphis boys. I played with the likes of Elvis, Aretha Franklin, and those kind of people, which is amazing, really. I was worried if I was going to be able to fit in with those guys, if I could keep up and play in time with them, but I feel like they got the best out of me, and it was an amazing experience.
And those guys being Bobby Wood and Gene Chrisman, and you say that they actually played with Elvis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, pretty insane.
It is insane. How old are those guys?
I think they played on. They're like 70. I think they played on "Suspicious Minds." Those two guys.
Suspicious Minds. That's a song that will always be close to my heart. That one.
Yeah, it's a good song.
So, what do they bring to the table? Do you think? Because they come from a different era. They've played with different types of music. They're kind of like the real thing when it comes to those old styles of music. Was it a bit of a culture shock or something a little bit different that you hadn't come across before?
No, not really. I've always been interested in the scene over there and the music that comes out of there as well. And growing up, it was something I'd always be reading up and learning a lot about. And so going over there it was amazing that I just got the opportunity really to make this record there. And there were times when it would seem a little bit surreal, but most of the time I'm pretty focused on just making a record, making it the best I can be.
Yeah.
It can be, sorry.
And those guys were good to you, were they? They were friendly and nice and welcoming and all those things?
Yeah, they were. Gene got me to try my first meatloaf, which was interesting. Obviously, I was a big fan, but it was an amazing time.
And who else played on the album?
Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys played on the album.
Right.
Yeah, I wrote a couple of songs with him for this record.
Yeah.
And my friend Matt Sweeney, who played guitar for me on my second album, I did with Rick Rubin. That's how I met him.
I don't know if you mind me saying this, but I can sort of pick up late 60s, early 70s vibe on some of the tracks. People like Fred Neil and Glenn Campbell, maybe a little bit of James Taylor as well. Are those artists familiar to you? Do you know much about them? And is that a fair comment for me to say that?
Absolutely, yeah. A big fan of Fred Neil and a massive fan of Glenn Campbell. And James Taylor, of course, has got some amazing songs and a great voice. And, I like a lot of the music from that era because I felt like it was, the songwriting was at its peak, let's say. And that's where a lot of the best songs were written for me personally. And just incredible music coming out around those decades. And before and maybe a little bit after. But it's just something resonates with me from the old songs.
Yeah.
Just great voices as well. Like Glenn Campbell's voice, incredible. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, I always knew songs like Rhinestone Cowboy and Wichita Lineman, of course, but I actually ended up finding a video of Glenn Campbell singing that one live, Wichita Lineman, and I realised then that he had an incredible voice, just a beautiful, beautiful voice.
Yeah, very special. One of my favourites. I like the stuff he did with Jimmy Webb as well, like Just This One Time is one of my favourite songs.
Yeah. Okay, and what did you grow up with then when you were first starting playing music on your guitar? What sort of things were you kind of exploring, getting into?
When I was like 12, 13, I listened to a lot of metal, the heaviest stuff, growing up. I loved playing the electric guitar and rock, But I listened to all kinds. I loved Jimi Hendrix and I loved my rock and roll. I loved Elvis. And I've always listened to different kinds of, different types of music ever being young. I love my folk music and my blues and so a bit of everything. If it was a good song, I'd listen to it.
Brighton's Finest.
Jeff Hemmings.
Jeff Hemmings.
This is
Juice 107.2.
Brighton's Finest.
I just wanted to talk about a couple of songs, if I may, from the album. The song Waiting. There's a guest vocalist on there. Who is that?
Guest vocalist is Noah Cyrus, which is really cool to have somebody that comes from a more pop background to be singing on a song that you've written, and it's a very nice feeling. And I think her father heard Billy Ray heard the song and got her to sing on it, so I'd like to thank you for that. And I love her voice. I think it sounds great on the record. I'm very happy with it. I wish she could have sung the whole thing.
Yeah. So, can you tell me a bit about the songs? Because I know that in many of your videos, there's always a little bit, it was sometimes a bit of a talking monologue at the beginning or the end where you talk about some aspect of the song. I don't know if that was like your idea or if that's what you wanted to do so that you didn't have to explain yourself to people. But with these songs on this particular album, is there a kind of any overriding themes, do you think? Anything that was sort of in your mind at the time when you were writing a lot of them?
I usually write like whatever comes to me. I find if I usually think about it too hard or try and work at it hard, it can be very difficult for me. So, I just write usually what comes to me, and I believe it's, my brain or, trying to tell me something. Sometimes you'll write a song and be like, oh, I didn't know I felt that way about that or this person. So I just usually write what comes to me and go along with the story that's coming to my mind.
With that in mind, could you explain anything at all about the song "The Event of My Demise"?
Yeah, that song I wrote with Dan Albeck and Matt Sweeney, and that was really cool. The song's about somebody being coming towards the end of their life, and there's a lot of hangers-on people coming out of the woodwork, and the guy reflecting back on his life and what he's done with it, and did he do enough? And it's a pretty dark tale, but it was one that we had a lot of fun writing. It was kind of the more dark the line, the louder the laugh, really, which is probably a little bit bad, but it was a lot of fun.
But that's kind of your kind of style anyway, isn't it? There's always a bit of darkness to your songs, a bit in your lyrics, but you always try and inject a bit of joy and a bit of happiness within it as well.
Yeah, I think all the music that I love takes you on a journey, and music's a nice way to switch off from all that stuff in the world and take you on a bit of an adventure sometimes. Yeah.
I've read somewhere that writing is kind of in your blood. You just have to write. It's what you do. You've never really had, a job as such, but your job has been to write songs. Is that how you see things?
It happens to be my job, but I don't really see it as that, because more than anything, it's my hobby, and I'm very lucky that I get to do it as a career, and I'm just very fortunate that I get to write music for a living. I couldn't wish for anything more.
Yeah, and you're going to be doing a little acoustic tour, aren't you, of the UK? I think it's just you, isn't it?
Yeah, in November, and I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be nice to play the new album and maybe a few old songs, and maybe give people a little insight to the music I love listening to as well, and play a couple of covers of songs I love as well.
Do you know what those covers might be? Is that something you can reveal?
I don't know. There might be a little Glenn Campbell tune in there. If I can sing.
Yeah, you've got to do Wichita Lineman. Of course, something.
I do actually know that song. I learned that one. It took me ages to learn, but I do know it.
I've even learned. I don't play guitar very much, but I even tried to learn it myself as well. And
the chords are amazing, aren't they?
They are. It's a beautiful, beautiful melody, beautiful sequence. And then, will you be taking out a band at some point? Do you think you're gonna go for a band setup with playing some songs from the album at some point?
Yeah, I think early next year I'm going to do a few more shows, maybe slightly bigger venues, depending if anyone wants to come and see me. So, but I'm definitely planning on it, and then maybe the festivals again next year. Bring out the electric guitar again.
Yeah,
just build it up throughout the year.
This is
Juice,
Brighton's finest.
bringing the artists closer to you.